I want to explore these 5 tools in a little more detail for you. Hunches are really exciting, important. They're surprises. They're those sparks of thought and insight that come to you. They can be fleeting. They can be from someone else. Just that sort of deep something, that inspiring something. They need to be collected, and I put together a process for you to think about, what they mean and start exploring them, asking questions about what it means to the person who said it, or what it means to you, the person who thought it. There's a template for that, and also a short video that I put together for you. The second tool we explore, the second building block, is this concept of rich pictures. This is a pretty structured one. I love this. This was an individual working on a very specific project. She was very ordered in her thinking, and at the same time was very exploratory and very creative. So she started putting together these individual post-it notes. These are important and they're great because they're flexible. You can move them, you can take them away, you can add them, you can replicate them. And I really like this one. It's a great explanation, kind of seeing into it, because it just evolved pieces of who was in it, some challenges that were happening. It was a pretty complex social project. And then she started to put them together and see patterns and themes, and then even started to move towards potential solutions. This was a really insightful and very useful process, and a good way for you to see into it, for example. A group effort here. Clearly there was someone, actually I think there were 2 people who were great drawers here, quite artistic. This is not the goal of a rich picture, by the way, but it certainly worked. I do remember that one of the individuals in the team, as people were talking, just immediately started drawing and scribbling and gathering insights, and that really stimulated the conversation as it went. This one here was a lot more structured, a different kind of people, different group of people working on a very specific project, looking for a solution. Really inspired and motivated the conversation. I have hundreds of these I've collected images of, because they help remind me how useful they are, and different approaches that you can use. Now let's go to Boyatzis and the intentional change theory. I like this because it's a semi-structured project. It's the process, It's always encouraging us to think about the ideal. So what is it that we're really trying to achieve, and what would great look like? And you can use this at any stage of your project. If you're new, you can use these thought processes and these exploratory tools I'm sharing with you to start turning your project into what that ideal looks like. Or you might be part of the way along or to the end. Whichever stage you're at in your milestone project, the ideal is crucial. So where actually are we at now? Are we right at the beginning, or we're right at the end? Thoughtful, then we start comparing these two as we go. The strengths that you have, and that includes the capabilities around you, the people around you, those networks, crucial, and what it is that we're growing and developing as we go. So what's missing? What else do we need? What do we actually have to find and leverage and do to keep working towards our ideal here? And then the learning agenda. Always be conscious of, okay, so what's happening here? What have I learned? What have we developed? What's new? What's something that we've learned that we need to move away from this? All of those beautiful things in a conscious kind of way. And experimenting with new ways of doing things, new learning, new processes. I think that's these ways of working, consolidating those, but also breaking old patterns and building new ones. And then practicing and leveraging this. So as we're working towards this ideal, to me, this is like a prototype project. This is clearly you're watching these videos and you're coming along because there's something that you want to do better or differently or new, or something that you find inspiring. So this is almost like a prototype that you're working on for how to work in the future. In fact, you're building your system for strategic success. You're applying the building blocks that are going to be your building blocks for your future success. And the glue that holds all of this together is trust, both trust in self and trust in those relationships around you. It's so crucial. Any project involves people in some shape or form. And it's so powerful to actually understand where they're at. I love this process. It's formally called empathy mapping. I call it insight mapping. So get a sense of the psychological state of the individual or team or yourself, and actually making that more formal so we can actually understand where people are at and where they want to be when they're moving towards this ideal state, this milestone project of yours, moving towards that point. And here we start to make things a lot more concrete. So this is formally called a jobs to be done process, but I like to call it steps on your milestone project. So, what are the outcomes? What does ideal look like? And we can be really thoughtful about this. Please go watch the video. If you don't watch any of the other ones that I've put up, this is a lot more intricate in some ways, because we're starting to get towards creation here. The biggest takeaway from this, I think, is that we often, depending what it is that you do, sometimes I've really focused on, okay, the end user needs to do this, or the person who's the beneficiary needs to do this. At the same time, we have goals that we have. We want to be successful, we want to be inspired, we want to be admired, whatever it is, and the teams that deliver this as well. The beautiful thing about this is that it helps us integrate all of these and understand if we're sort of cognizant and congruent, or whether there's some disconnect between what our end user or our friend or whoever the beneficiary is trying to achieve and what it is that we are trying to do and what we want to achieve. So that's all very well, and let's leave you with something a little more structured. So this was originally, it was put together from the D-School, and it's called 5 Radical Ways of. But I've just turned it into literal sketch at least 5 radical somethings. So it might be options, it might be steps, it might be questions, it might be hunches. To me, if we just start, words, pictures, images, drawings, I like the fact that it's iterative. Some people use this as a process as well. It just helps us do something, and it helps bring things to life. We also get a little bit of serotonin from this. It's a bit of excitement. We can see some solutions and outcomes coming out. I think this is one of my favorite templates, because it's just open. It lets you do and play what you want to do. I've seen some incredible outcomes from this when just people, they're working on their own part of a project, and then they see all of these different ideas, and up it pops. So just a reminder, this is your milestone project is definitely underway. Either you just started it, or you're halfway there, or you're just about to finish. Continue coming and joining and watching my videos. I do have approximately 48 tools that all fit together, these building blocks for strategic success. So that's me. Thank you very much, and do continue to explore and have lots of fun.